Welcome back. So inflation is dropping, but why doesn't it feel that way for all of us? Well, here to help us understand is Jim Lineweaver, who's a certified financial planner professional and your financial quarterback.
Jim, always a pleasure to have you here on the noon broadcast. You know, inflation is it's a tricky topic because let's say 3 years ago I'd spend $100 at the grocery store 3 years ago and I'd have 3 bags of groceries. Now I have 1 bag of groceries.
Right.
That doesn't feel good.
Right.
No, it does not.
How's this come about?
Well, what's happening is inflation is still here, but the rate of change in inflation is coming down. So big difference, because back in June of 2022, it hit its peak of 9.1.
Right.
And now it's just reported by the Fed yesterday, it's about 3.8. So that's a big drop.
Yeah.
However, they want to get it to 2. And we're not there yet. So therein lies the problem, because the market is anticipating, and what he brought up in December of last year, meaning the Fed chairman, as well as about a month ago, he wants to lower rates at some point in time, hopefully towards the end of this year. But if inflation stays high, around that 3.5, 3.8% range, he's going to have a hard time doing that.
I guess we could really visualize this when it was happening right around COVID, because COVID was to blame. Then supply chain issues, that was to blame. And then you may throw in like politics, that's to blame. But I guess we can't, why is this happening?
Well, inflation's still relatively low, and you have a good economy. So those two combined, everything's based on supply and demand. So if demand still stays a little high, why should anybody lower the prices? That means people are willing to pay it. So what happens is the demand has to go down, so that therefore the prices can eventually go down. And that's happening. And the Fed is actually doing a remarkable job. There's not too many places in the government where you say they're doing a good job, but he's actually doing a pretty good job.
So we're all trying to save as much money as we possibly can for retirement, but the dollar doesn't weigh as much as it used to. So you're trying to stockpile this amount for retirement, but when we all get there, it's really going to mean this much.
Yeah,
How do you combat that?
Yeah, 2 major issues. If you look back over the last 50 years, $1 would be, it's dropped 87%. So it'd be worth 13 cents today. Right?
Oh my gosh, $1?
Yeah,
No way.
50 years ago. Flip it around on the reverse
ago.
side. Most people that retire on average spend 16 to 19 years in retirement. So if you have $1 million today, that means in the next 19 years, to stay ahead of inflation, you're going to have that continue to grow to be about $1.6 million in 19 years. But then if you take into account taxes, so let's say on average taxes were about, say, 2.5% of your rate of return. Inflation, historically, we're at 3.8, but traditionally it's around 2.3, 2.4%. And then let's say you have about a 5% consumption rate. You want to spend money in retirement, right? You worked real hard. Add those up, you're getting close to a 9.5, 10% rate of return that you're going to need just to stay ahead of inflation. And the big problem is because short-term rates have come up, people have been jumping to CDs, jumping to money market accounts that are paying 4.5, 5%, but that's taxed at your personal income rate, not a capital gain rate, or some, maybe even some tax-free things. So what people are seeing, and especially because they just got their tax return, why am I paying so much in taxes? Well, they may be at a level now where it's triggering some taxes on their Social Security. So a lot of people, not only are you getting hit with inflation, you might be getting hit with more taxes. The double whammy can really hurt you.
So when you kind of work with the person who is maybe helping you out and guide you, what are some good strategies? Should we now, I mean, we keep hearing it, but you need to be saving more.
Well, you do, and the savings rate, unfortunately, is coming down because why? And more cost of goods, right?
Right.
But what happens is it's not only where you put your money, it's how you're taxed on that money. Because if you have something taxed at a personal income rate, like say a CD, but you might be able to get something else like a tax-free bond, no taxes, or maybe down to a capital gain rate like a dividend on a stock, what ends up happening is you might be able to get the same income out of these instruments, and if you could cut your taxes in half, then what ends up happening is you're going to have more money to spend in retirement.
See, it's
so
very
this is why it's so
complicated.
important.
This is why you have to lean on the experts, and folks can come see you in public next week. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're going to have an education program on this and a lot of other things at Lock Keepers next Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. But they do have to register. They can't just show up, and they can do that at our website if they like.
And we can link you, if you go to fox8.com, we'll link you to their website. So you get dinner, right? You get a great dinner.
It's not a bad dinner either.
And it's I was just at Lock Keepers a couple days ago. It's fantastic. And then you get really great guidance and instruction from you guys.
Yes, exactly. We're going to have a whole team of professionals there for them.
Perfect,
Gonna
but you do
save
have
us
to
some money,
register.
Going to make us some money. Jim Lineweaver, thanks so much for being here with us.
Appreciate it. Good to see you.